Welcome to another episode of SFG TV's District SF, featuring District 4. I'm Jennifer Lowe. For many San Franciscans, District 4 seems far away and mysterious. Today, we'll uncover the unique appeal of life in the Sunset District. We'll reveal the highlights, the problems, the opportunities, and the solutions, right here on District SF.
We're lucky to have the ocean. And a lot of people enjoy the ocean. We are also bordered by Golden Gate Park as well as the zoo. And so there's a lot of activities for families in my district. I also have a lot of kids, probably one of the districts with the highest amount of kids and families. The Sunset traditionally has been a quiet district. We have a lot of working families, a lot of seniors.
I like living out here because I like the weather especially. But I like the fact that it's such a multicultural area. It's very diverse out here. And that's very important when you're raising children, not to isolate them. Here, my children have friends of all nationalities. I have friends. You associate with all different people, and that's very important.
I kind of love this neighborhood because I'm accepted in this neighborhood and all over the city. And I enjoy this area.
I've really enjoyed this community. The air is extremely clean. It is beautiful surroundings, close to the ocean, excellent transportation. It's diverse, like San Francisco. You walk in this area and you hear many languages that are being spoken. There's a very significant Russian community. The Asian American community has many different countries represented.
The fog I like the ocean. I like Golden Gate Park. Being here at Java Beach, kind of the center of where all sorts of different types of people mix, is also fun to be a part of.
It's a family, it's a community. We're always taking care of each other, always watching each other's backs.
Part of my objectives of moving out here were, one, being close to the beach, but two, also having more of a sense of community. And I really feel that I recognize my neighbors, I have coffee with them, I know the local business owners. A lot of it is actually focused around the beach and this connection with the beach. In an urban setting, you have limited public space, and living right on the beach gives me a sense of openness.
As we've just heard, there's some really great things about District 4. But as with any other district in the city, there are some problems. Let's hear from the Sunset residents about what's bugging them.
The Sunset traditionally has been a quiet district. We have a lot of working families, a lot of seniors, and so we're not the most vocal district. And I think one of the things that we're always fighting for is more resources out in the Sunset District. We're always trying to make sure that our police station is fully staffed. We're fighting for more beat officers to be out on the street. We want our fire stations open. It's a very pro-public safety district. And we want more services for our kids at the community centers, more after-school programs and preschools and lunch programs and breakfasts at the schools. We want neighborhood schools. Parents buy homes in the district so that they can make sure their kids get to and from school safely, and it's also cuts down on commute times.
We're labeled as, a neighborhood that's well off and doing okay. We've got kids that are struggling, families that are struggling, and we're just as much in need as a lot of people.
Having a district supervisor is very good, except for one thing: we only have one and there are 10 others. And they look at the Sunset as this rich, everybody's a homeowner type thing. They have no concept of what the Sunset is, so it leaves us, one little district, fighting to say, hey, look at us. We have children, we have juvenile delinquency, we have homeless people, we have a drug rehab center, we have problems with muni, we have schools. We need homes out here, we need low-income housing. But nobody sees that, because when you come through here, you don't see it, but it's here.
The Sunset District is famous for its proximity to both Golden Gate Park and the beach, attractions that draw visitors from all over the world. Unfortunately, some of these visitors can cause problems for the locals. In our next segment, District 4 residents talk about the dark side of being popular.
Out here at the end of Judah, well, we have a lot of problems. We've been pretty neglected by city agencies as far as, you know, like if you look at the landscaping on the Great Highway, it's just myoprim trees that are more like bushes. I mean, it'd be one thing if there were trees, but it was bushes where people throw their garbage.
In our work with the city and GG&RA, we've had some frustrations as working with any large bureaucracy is apt to happen with finger pointing or territory or jurisdictional issues. So for GG&RA, it's the beach cleanliness, the enforcement of existing law. So the bonfire management policy, littering policies, encampment in the dunes. And then on the city side, it's maintenance of trash cans, removal of refuse from the streets.
Traditionally, along Ocean Beach, there were a lot of campers and a lot of homeless folks, and they would just disregard that whole area. They would just dump their garbage out on the sidewalk. There were drug dealers, there was prostitution, there was all sorts of things that were happening down there.
In an actual neighborhood where families are and where people are living, we're getting the worst of the worst from downtown, from the Civic Center, from the Tenderloin, from the Haight-Ashbury. They're getting sent out here, and there are problems. And a lot of these guys are violent and dangerous. It would be one thing if we had a lot of police down here, but we don't, because Taraville Station's so big that they can't handle these guys.
Some of this really speaks to larger social issues. When people are not able to make enough money to be able to pay their own way, to be able to rent a house, to be able to be normal participants in our society, and are forced to live in very primitive conditions.
One of the main issues that we're dealing with is clean beaches. So we have a unique situation in San Francisco where we don't have really a beach culture, and it's really an urban environment where we have the urban and the beach meeting at Ocean Beach. So we get a lot of refuse from the streets out on the beach, and we have a lot of urban users on the beach, including people sleeping in the dunes, people using bonfires, and there's a lot of just refuse and garbage that ends up on the beach. We've noticed through our work on cleaning up the beach, which we do about once a month, that the concentration of the hazardous materials and the trash are typically around bonfires.
The bonfires are illegal from Lincoln to Sloat, and then you're also only supposed to burn certain types of wood and stuff like that. So one of the problems is the bonfires aren't patrolled on the parts that it's illegal. So the problem is most guys who know they're going to be burning some illegal things or be having illegal parties with a lot of alcohol and a lot of noise and stuff like that come to the part where it's already illegal, where it's not being monitored by the police. So you have a lot of vandalism out here, you have a lot of fights out here. You know, we've had our benches torn out twice, planter boxes, windows get broken. Sometimes they go right up Judah Street just breaking all the windows. And just every Friday, Saturday night, people scream and fight out here.
I do think that bonfires are a lot of fun. They had them when I was in school. I just think they should be a little bit regulated, where you get a permit, bring your wood, stay away from people's porches and their fences. And I think a deal could be worked.
Frankly, I think that this neighborhood is a very clean neighborhood. I certainly have to pick up in front of my house on a daily basis, but I think all neighbors need to be doing that. I walk all over the Sunset, and I don't see the accumulation of trash that is seen in other neighborhoods. I believe that the people here really do take pride in their community.
In terms of safety, I feel relatively safe. There seems to be some petty crime, including breaking into cars,